Okay, chicken soup. So, we've made stock. If you didn't make stock, you can use store-bought stock. Just won't be quite as good. I'm gonna put my pot here is warmed up, and I've got about enough olive oil to cover the bottom of the pot. Not too much, maybe a couple tablespoons. I need a little bit more than that. And now I've got 3 onions that are diced up. If you don't remember how to dice onions properly, or if you haven't yet watched that video, go watch the basics video, the first one that is all about how to cut onion, carrot, and celery. Now again, this is a recipe that is pretty simple, that's the point, and that you can add all kinds of things to if you want to. So, my pot wasn't that hot, so I just turned it up a little bit. We're going to start with the onions, but yeah, go back to the basics, and it's really not hard to practice cutting up and dicing up your onions. So I've got 3 onions ready to go, and then I've got about 5 stalks of celery, and I've got 4 carrots, okay? And that's what I'm going to use for the meat from one whole chicken and the stock that we made today, but you can use store-bought if you haven't made chicken stock. So look, here's the thing. If you want to make chicken soup and you don't have a whole lot of time, it's not going to taste as good, but you can make a decent chicken soup by starting from here, doing your vegetables, using a store-bought chicken stock and using a store-bought rotisserie chicken, and you know, it'll come out pretty good, you know. And so don't feel like if you don't have a whole lot of time that there's no way that you can do this, because you can, okay? So what I'm putting in here today is pretty simple. Start with the onions. We'll add the carrots and celery. We'll saute those a little bit. Then we're going to add the chicken stock, and we're going to let that cook for a while. And then we're going to dice up the chicken meat, and we're going to add that and seasoning. And then you have some options. You can add potatoes at the end and finish cooking it with potatoes in it. You could cook rice on the side and add rice if you'd like. You can cook some small noodles and add noodles if you like. What I would recommend is adding those things, other than the potatoes that you would want to cook in the stock. I would cook those things separately and just cook enough for the number of portions that you have, instead of adding them and leaving them in the soup. Okay? We can talk more about that. Okay, let's add the remaining vegetables here. We've got the celery and the carrots. Get them going. Just for a few minutes. So these are known, you know, you see carrot, onion, celery as the basis for a lot. It's known as a mirepoix, or they're kind of aromatic vegetables. You can use other things too. Leeks are good in some things. Celery root I use sometimes, depending on what we're doing. But this is kind of the basis for stocks and soups, and often sauces as well. The aromatics that you get from these sauteed vegetables, and then using stock along with it. So I'm going to let these cook a little bit. Okay. Carrots, onions, celery, looking pretty good here. They've been going just for a couple of minutes. I've got my chicken stock here. This is about that's about 2 of the store-bought containers. Those are 32 ounces each, those containers. This is about, I'm going to say that's probably about 2 of them. I didn't measure it. There you go. Look how nice that stock looks too. You see the fat on the top. It really looks tasty. So I'm going to keep this up pretty high, and I'm going to let it start to simmer. Now I don't want to cook this for too long. I just want to let it cook the vegetables so they're still a little bit firm, and then I'm going to add the chicken in, and then we'll season it, and then we'll see how we're doing. Okay. Okay, I'm getting some potatoes ready because I want to add those to my soup. I just cut them in half again. Just got pieces about that size, okay? And then here I've got my chicken from earlier. So this has been in the refrigerator. I'll show you. So this doesn't have to be too precise. Pieces like that. This is some of the breast meat, right? And some of the darker meat. One thing to watch out for, there's always that little tendon piece, be careful of that. So pieces about the same size. I'll chop all this up and then we'll put it all in. Okay, so one thing I want to show you. This is the container that the chicken was in. And if you look in there, you'll see that it's kind of gelatinous, right? And that's the that's how your chicken stock will come out as well. When you chill your good chicken stock that you made, if it was cooked slowly and nicely with the bones, it will get kind of jelly-like, gelatinous like that because of the from the bones. And same with if you make a beef stock or a veal stock, same thing, and that's actually a sign of a beautiful, good stock. Okay, so here we have the chicken just added, and that's looking pretty good, isn't it? But look, you can have it just like that. You don't have to add anything else to it. I'm going to add potatoes to it, and that will make it somewhat heartier. And I might actually add some peas to it today. You could add peas to it. You could add lima beans to it. You could add green beans to it. You could add a can of garbanzo beans or white beans, or you can really add whatever you want to it. This makes it a little bit heartier, putting the potatoes in. I don't always do that. I'm going to turn it up a little bit just to get it cooking. And now I'm also going to add some fresh thyme. So I'm going to prepare the fresh thyme, and then I'm going to taste it for the seasoning, and we're pretty much done. So you know I like fresh thyme a lot. Here's a sprig of thyme. If you grow it, it'll grow out like this. You just cut it from each of the stems from the base. So you have to pick the leaves off. It's very woody stems, and you go kind of toward the base of the plant, or you can sometimes go like this and you'll get most of it, but then you're still going to have to do these individual leaves. The stems at the top are softer, and so if you don't get every last one of the stems from the very tippy top, it's not that bad. But the lower ones, you really got to be careful, and you got to pick the leaves off. So I'm going to do two kind of big sprigs worth, probably about 2 tablespoons or so. And I'll show you here. I'm gonna you get it like the leaves like that, and then just chop it up a little bit. You don't want big pieces or full-size leaves going in there. But that's pretty well it. That's one of my favorites right there, and that's just gonna go right into the soup, and I'll do about 4 times that amount. Okay, our chicken soup is looking good here. Look at that. That's delicious. The potatoes are ready to go. Nice and cooked. Just try to serve it or turn it off pretty quickly after the potatoes are cooked. I'm going to taste it now. So it definitely needs salt. I don't think I've salted it much at all. So I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons of salt. black pepper. Try it again for seasoning. Yeah, that's pretty darn good. Here you go. How's that look? Chicken vegetable. Ready to go. Enjoy that one.